Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Goffstown High School for today's football matchup between the Bedford Bulldogs and your Goffstown Grizzlies. My name is Scott Caros, and I'm joined in the booth today by Neil Vopel. Neil, welcome.
Scott, great to be here another day for Goffstown football. Beautiful day out in the sky. It looks like it's going to be a great matchup between these two perennial one contenders.
Yeah, and you could argue today is a hot one. I'd say it's probably in the low 80s, I think. I mean, I was walking across the field. It's a warm one.
It is hot out there. Tough day to play for these guys. Let's hope they're hydrated and nourished and ready to go. Got some fans in the stands who look to be loud today for their Goffstown Grizzlies.
So today's Bedford-Goffstown football game is being broadcast live by our friends at GTV. So I want to thank Adam and David in the studio as well as camera folks and technicians. We're also simulcasting today with Bedford TV, and we're also on the radio at WBNH LP radio at 105.1 on your FM radio. So we want to welcome everyone who is listening on the radio as well as watching this streaming as well as live in Goffstown. So Neil, I think this is a pretty strong matchup. Bedford is coming in, again, according to the Union leader, 14-point favorites, I think largely due to the fact that their defense seems pretty stout this year.
Coach does a terrific job getting these guys ready to go every Friday and Saturday. I'm looking forward to a strong performance by the Bulldogs, but Goffstown's really rallied and has come from behind in 2 games to really show that this is a team that should not be taken lightly and will be in the postseason hunt.
So kicking off for the Bedford Bulldogs is Ryan Babotas. And
look for Babotas to go deep here to avoid their dealer formation as the two guys drop back. A little bit of a pooch kick. That's a live ball. It's on the ground.
Number 10, and he's not going to really get much there. Great special teams. That was a tackle by number 23. That was Jack Jones, and Jonah Lopez really on that one.
No play. I don't think that was anticipating the shorter pooch-type kick. They did a good job holding on to the football, and they'll start on offense.
And that'll be, about the 15-yard line. So that's a good special teams play by Bedford. And I think the key for Goffstown here is they've had slow starts, Neil, to the point where second half they've dominated both their opponents in the first 2 games. But I don't think you can afford to go slow here against the Bedford team.
I agree, Scott. Look for Goffstown to spread the ball out a little bit around today. Certainly some new plays will be in their repertoire.
Hinault at quarterback. He pitches to Picard. He throws the ball, and he throws the ball short to number 7. His feet weren't set. He threw it to Caden Perry. Caden Perry was wide open, but I don't think Picard really had his feet set on that one.
I don't think so, Scott. That's the same play that they opened up against Bedford in the JV program and the freshman program last year. It looks like Bedford wasn't quite ready for that one either.
So now it'll be 2nd down and 10. Again, Picard is in the backfield. We got Strickland in the slot closest to you. Number 10 is Lopez.
And our deep cover 3 set.
So you got 4 wide receivers. That's a handoff to Picard up the middle, but he is tackled after a maybe 3-yard gain.
Grogan stayed on his assignment, read that play well, was able to bottle that up for not such a big gain.
Tackle on that one was by Charlie Caniso-Williams. And again, Goffstown is now looking at a 3rd down and a long 7 yards.
Might want to look for the draw here, Scott.
It's a pass play. Throws it over to Lopez. He
Quick
breaks
little
a tackle.
tunnel screen.
And he breaks
He's
another
going.
tackle. He's got some running
he
room.
goes.
He could go all the way, folks. Will
This
he
is
get
gonna be a
caught by number
touchdown.
2?
He will
he
not.
get caught? He's running. He's going. And he is in there for a touchdown. Number 10, Jonah Lopez.
There's that fast start that you guys were for. Great tunnel left.
And we got the Goffstown student section. They're cheering this one. Here's your replay, folks. And Lopez is in for that touchdown. What a great cut back by Lopez.
That tunnel developed nicely, and Lopez took it all the way to the house.
Kyle Pinard now is set for the extra point. So a quick strike by Goffstown. Bad snap. And the kick is good. So a great job by the holder for Goffstown. And Goffstown quickly strikes. And it's like Goffstown can't afford to start off slow. And that one really just, I think it was kind of a pass underneath. Lopez was able to kind of cut it back. But I think what you saw there was Lopez has some really good speed.
Really great speed. The tunnel screen left. He follows it, cuts it across the field, and runs all the way to the house for 6 points.
And that was, about an 87-yard play on that one. 85-yard play. It was pretty impressive.
Great patience by Lopez, allowing those blocks to develop, and then he cuts it across the field.
So if you're a quarterback, that really helps your stats, right? You throw the ball 5 yards, and then, and here you go. There's that replay, and Lopez's legs gives the QB for Goffstown, Hinault, an 85-yard touchdown completion.
It's going to look great in tomorrow's Union Leader.
Yeah. And now we've got the kickoff. Bedford has 2 deep. That'll be number 1, Solomon Sanchez, but that's a short kick.
Setting up the wedge block.
And that looks to be good block. And now it's in the scrum. And he stopped at the 32-yard line.
Decent field position for Bedford here. They want to make sure that they onto the ball. Today's heat is definitely going to be a factor in these games for these guys, so they want to make sure that they give their defense a little bit of a chance to get some rest and not go through.
Tackles on that special team play by Cooper Flanagan, 14, and number 2, Ryan Cody. So now we've got quarterback for Bedford is Joe Michael, number 12. 4 wide receivers, similar formation to Goffstown. And it's a pass play right off the bat, out to the flat. Number 11 catches it, and a nice reception for a long 8-yard gain by number 11. That would be Tim Green.
Quick little hitch to the left to Tim Green.
And he was wide open. That was a good play. It looks like Bedford is going in a hurry up.
Signals are being sent in. Bedford gets right to the line. Michael gets the signal.
In the backfield is Mike Axton. It's a handoff. Nope, throw out to the flat again. Nice play.
That's great.
Big play to Solomon Sanchez. That faked me out.
Nice work. Run PO, run pass option game right there.
Well, I like that one. Like I said, it faked me out from up here. I thought he handed the ball off, and then he pulled it back quickly.
Good play action here. Again, quick to the line.
They've got Goffstown defense on their heels with these first couple of plays here.
Corners are about 7 yards off.
Handoff up the middle to number 21, and he could break. He gets tackled by number 32, Brad Baxter. But that is a pretty good pickup.
Probably about 5 yards there.
Axton.
Absolutely. Baxter met her in the hole sharply. That'll be one he'll remember for a little bit. Bedford quick to the
2nd down and 5, and so far Bedford's been in really good positions. When you have 2nd down and 5, 2nd down and 2, you can pretty much do a whole lot.
The quarterback certainly looks a little bit more comfortable over these past 2 games. Joe's done a nice job. Tempo, completing his passes.
It's a handoff to 21, and he gets stuffed. No gain. So that was Axton got stuffed at the line. It'll be 3rd down and 5. I like that pass play into the flat. The receivers have been open on both of those occasions, so
certainly an adjustment that Coach Huff will make. He's probably letting this play out a little bit.
Right, but if number 3 for Goffstown bites, if Hinault bites to the inside,
motion.
Number 1's in motion. Handoff up the middle, and a big pickup here. Nice broken tackle by number 21. That was Axton again, and he broke a tackle, and that gave him the first down. It was a leg tackle, was missed. So it'll be a first at the 35-yard line for the Bulldogs. Under 9 minutes, and here's a replay. You can see that, just a quick first down by Axton.
Motion play again. This time it's a sweep, looking to cut back.
And he doesn't get much. So the Goffstown defense swarmed on that one, 76. That would be Belanger finishes it up, but there was several Goffstown Grizzlies that were there initially. And Marcus Rush was one of them to the initial hit.
Goffstown did a good job of sniffing out that speed sweep.
Number one is hobbling off. That's Solomon Sanchez. In for him is number Joe Leary. Hopefully he's okay.
Looks like he got his foot stepped on. He's down. Eric Gelinas, the trainer for Bedford,
so
looking him over.
We got two backs in the backfield for Bedford.
Here comes the
Goffstown
blitz.
showing blitz. Throws it out. Great play. This could be trouble for if you're Goffstown.
There goes Leary.
And he cuts it back.
Tries to cut back.
And number 3 with the tackle, Honnold. But what a beautiful, this is all beautiful play calling right here, Neil, in my opinion.
Coach Matthews has these guys ready to go. Good job of Joe Michael replacing the blitz. The blitzer comes in. He dumps it off to his back on a swing pass with the nothing but field in front of him. Great job by Bedford.
Again, beautiful play calling. Really had Goffstown on its heels.
Goffstown needs to make a stand here. Bedford's methodically marching down the field, controlling the tempo and the rhythm of this game to start off.
You got to watch out, too. This is a hot day. You don't want to have your defense on the field a lot.
Scott, absolutely. That takes a lot out of it. Handoff middle.
Number 21, Michael Axton on the carry.
And that was 21 on the carry. Looks like he picked up about 2 yards on that play. But when you get to this part of the field, we talk about it all the time. In high school, a lot of times it's fourth down territory. This one will be close because you're at the 20. We have seen kickers in high school kick 30 and 40-yard field goals. Last year, you had a great kicker.
Madison Lucantoni, she was terrific for us. We called her Automatty. They have Ryan Babotas this year, who's pretty terrific
quick
as well.
handoff, and that's easily stuffed there by Goffstown. That looked a little awkward. I'm not sure what happened. It looked like the ball was snapped. I don't know if everybody knew the snap count on that one, to be honest.
I think you're absolutely right, Scott. That was some miscommunication by the line and the quarterback. Only half of them were ready to go.
Yeah, so that's a third down now and 11, it looks like.
I think they'd be a little more comfortable if they could get about 5 yards here on this play, and if they don't get the first down, look for them to go with a field goal.
So we got 4 wideouts for Bedford. The running back is number 21, Axton. Pass play, wide open to number 4, quickly tackled. He went by Baxter, but he went right into the seam at the 10-yard line. What a beautiful play by Bedford.
Quick little slant. I don't think they were anticipating the slant, the inside route there. Someone's got to clamp down on defense, look for them to press their guys at the line.
Yeah, but right now what they're doing is they're giving a pretty good cushion, and that's freeing up these receivers, because so far they're really for Bedford, the receivers have been open quite a bit.
Absolutely.
So now
Scott.
we're on the 10-yard line, first and goal. A little bit short of a field now to play with if you're Bedford. It's a hand up the middle, and that gets stuffed. What I'm seeing, Neil, is that it looks like Goffstown is defending the run, but in doing so, if they're overcommitting on the run, that's why the pass is so wide open. So you do the little play action and frees a lot of things up.
You're right, Scott. They're trying to suck those linebackers in with a play action, and it seems to be working so far. I'll be interested to see what type of adjustment Coach Huff makes on those plays.
Again, we got 4 wide receivers, single back for Bedford, and it's a pass play all the way. It's tackled.
Nice little touch pass there. Green wide open, shooting the target with his hands. Joe completes that ball.
And Caden Perry tackles number 11. That would be Tim Green, and that'll be now a third down and goal. I think it's the 7-yard line. 3-yard line. So a lot of options if you're Bedford. You can run the ball. I like to spread this out personally and let the quarterback even run it in if you can.
You might be looking at a quarterback keep. You're right, Scott.
This is perfect spot for a quarterback keep situation. So Axton is to the left of the quarterback, Joe
Motion
Michael.
here, motion.
And
counter.
And he's
probably about a yard.
He got a yard on that play. So now what do? You're fourth down if you're Bedford. I say you go for it.
I agree with you.
They move the ball. You know what I'm saying? a little different story if you didn't have success, but you kind of move the ball this first drive. If Goffstown is able to stop you, well, fine, get us in the next one then.
I think so. I think you're absolutely right. And that's
so a big fourth down and goal. Other things that you can do is you can try to draw Goffstown's defense offside with a hard count.
Absolutely, and you may be looking at that type of situation here early in the game. Ellie is in it back.
Snap to the quarterback, and he's got it.
He's got him.
And that's going to be a touchdown for Bedford, number 5. And that's a touchdown to Joe Leary. That's a Joe to Joe tandem.
Play action to Ellie. Joe runs the out route. He threw that ball a little bit behind him.
He did, but
Leary
makes
a good adjustment.
He was so wide open that he could make that adjustment. And he had a lot of time on that, I thought, to make that throw, and he made Goffstown pay for it. Low snap, and that is good. So we've got a tie game here, 7-7.
That was a pretty good drive by the Bulldogs.
So this weekend for Goffstown is New Hampshire Tackles Hunger. Goffstown High School, they did sponsor a canned food drive at the entrance, and you're going to see a halftime show. Some of our student athletes on the Goffstown team participating in that event, and you'll see that at halftime. We did a little production for that, little video.
That's great to see the students get behind that really worthy cause for New Hampshire.
You know, once again, I want to remind our viewers that we're also on the radio in Bedford at WBNH at 105.1 on FM radio. So for those of you listening in a car or at home right now, I want to welcome you, as well as those of you watching this game on Facebook or on YouTube. So we got a tie score here at 7-7, under 4 minutes to play, and Bedford will kick off to Goffstown. And they're doing something differently. Oh, they're checking the
shoulder pads.
That was Baxter, yeah. See, I would want to put somebody in that middle area, that 25-yard line spot. That's where he dropped it last time. And this is where Goffstown has to kind of come up.
It's a little bit deeper this time, going to the opposite side of the field.
Number 7 with the ball. And a great tackle. That was Caden Perry, but number 10 for Bedford, that was Dylan Kumbani, and he was unblocked and went right after him. What a great special teams play by Kumbani.
Great speed on his contained position right there, getting after the ball carrier. You got to be impressed with speed and attention to detail right there.
So with that, Goffstown will take over at the 25-yard line. Goffstown was able to score on a big play. Bedford scored on a very methodical long drive. Well over 10 plays.
Let's see what they open up with here, Scott. Switching of some
personnel. So now Lopez will go to the wide receiver spot on the closest to your screen. And you got 3 receivers to the top part. Bad snap.
Tough snap. And Alt does a good job of containing that. He's making something out of it.
And he gets 4 or 5 yards out of nothing. So it was a high snap, which he was barely able to corral with one hand. And really good job by Hinault. That could have gone over his head. So he makes something out of nothing, like you said, and now they'll be in a 2nd and 6 position.
Hinault showing a lot of maturity with that type of play, not trying to be the hero, corral that ball in, put your head down and try and get a couple yards. Good job by him.
Picard in the backfield, low snap on
again,
that one.
Tough one.
And Picard is fighting, and he keeps going. He's another one. Now we've got a flag coming in. There's a couple of things on this. It's either a hold or it's a face mask.
Maybe an face mask.
We'll see what we got here. But we got a flag on the play, and it looks like it's going to be against Goffstown just by the... No, they're calling it the other way. It's against Bedford.
Face mask.
And that was an inadvertent face mask. If he actually pulled it, it would have been a 15-yard or personal foul. And in those type of scrum situations, it's usually in that it's a hold or it's a face mask.
You're right, Scott. That's tough to wrap your arms around a guy and not get your hand caught up, but it is still a penalty, and Goffstown advances the football.
It'll be a first down for Goffstown at the 38-yard line.
They're in their trips formation to the left, and Alt checks the play.
Low snap.
Low snap again. Seam ball.
Intercepted, and a good job by number 10 for Goffstown making the tackle, but a really nice interception by number 38. The ball was underthrown, I thought, but that was a great job by Tyler Spires.
Tyler Spires had worked hard to get a starting position for these Bedford Bulldogs. He does a nice job on his read and jumps to highest point to corral that interception.
Yeah, I see. It's interesting. Did you think that ball was underthrown? It looked like
I did think it was a little underthrown.
Yeah, you can see it on the instant replay. You know, Jonah has a lot of speed. If that ball is laid out there, he could probably run underneath it.
Possible.
So let's see what Goffstown can do on the defensive side of the ball, because in that first drive, Neil, Bedford really had their way.
Showing
blitz. A blitz. And it's a pass
drop
play
back.
again.
Michael's going to roll out to the right. He hoists one up, well underthrown.
And that's what you don't want to do if you're a high school quarterback, because he just threw it up, and that was dangerous right there.
Absolutely. He's got to look to run that ball. Sometimes taking a sack is better than throwing the interception, especially with this pretty strong field position for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, and Nathan Belanger was exerting pressure, but if he breaks Nathan Belanger, he's got 30 running room.
Joe's done a real good job for the Bulldogs this year. He is a sophomore and has room to grow.
2nd and 10 for the Bulldogs. Single back.
Showing blitz again.
And that's a
miscommunication.
Snap, but
Timmy Green on that RPO game again.
Right, and that's a first down. So Goffstown looks like they're playing almost like a zone, it looks like. And they're exploiting that zone. Number 11, I think that was Tim Green. He went right into that hole. So all he's doing is he's going into that hole on the defense and just sitting there, and then the ball can get thrown right to him.
Right, these quick slants and these quick hitches are working real well for Bedford here.
So first down for Bedford at Goffstown's 45. And that's a handoff to number 1.
So there goes Sanchez.
And he gets tackled, but he picks up 7 yards.
So they went to their 2-back set there, Scott, instead of the 1-back typically that Bedford runs. Now they split Sanchez out wide at slot. Trips right here. Yeah. Atkins in the backfield.
And Atkinson has had a good game so far. Sorry, I'm butchering your name.
Checking the play.
It's a 2nd down and a long 3, and they're changing up the play here. Showing again. Blitz. Wide open.
There you go. Scott, you're absolutely right about this. I think that Bedford is exploiting the run-pass option game here.
Yeah, and I think what they're doing is that because Goffstown is playing, I would call it a soft zone, and almost threatening the Bedford quarterback to throw it, and he is, and he's having success. So there's going to have to be an adjustment if you're the Goffstown defense. You can't leave these guys that wide open.
They're doubling up Green here on the bottom left. Looks like a blitz.
And a handoff up the middle to 21, and that's going to be a touchdown.
There's a good cutback by Atkins there.
Yep. So Axton with a touchdown, and now it's 13-7. If you're Bedford, you got to be happy with those 2 drives. You really have had your way with the Goffstown defense so far.
Seems to be something that's a bit of a theme for Goffstown here. They start off slow. They go into halftime. They make some tremendous adjustments. Be interesting to see what Coast Up is going to dial up here.
So we're 13-7. Here's that instant replay, and we showed that touchdown. But nice job if you're Bedford.
Great job by the running back, making one quick cut and then hitting the hole and then one cut at the end.
Oh, another tough extra point, and that looked good though.
It did.
And it did. It was ugly, but it went through. Good job by the holder to get that lined up.
Spires does a nice job corralling that poor snap. That's something they'll have to work on. Good patience by Bobotis, letting him get that ball on the block and kicking away.
So my takeaway in these first 2 drives for Bedford is that they've really had Goffstown off balance. When I say that, Goffstown is playing the run fairly well, but they're really getting hurt on the pass plays, and it looks like, especially like number 11, which is Timothy Green, he just seems to be hitting that hole. He gets, he's getting the ball and he's picking up 10, 15 yards a whack.
So hard to defend that quick slant, and Bedford is exploiting that today.
I wonder if Goffstown will go more to a man-to-man. Maybe they were nervous to go man-to-man because of some disadvantages, maybe on speed, etc. But
I think
they're going to have to think twice. Kickoff by Bedford. That's a deep kick, a great kick.
Deep sail over his head into the end zone, automatic touchback.
Yeah, and that's a great kick.
Bobotis has a pretty good leg on him now that he's shown the pooch and then the kick to the left and the deep middle. Might be hard for Goffstown to set up their dealer formation.
Yeah, so Bobotis, a senior, what a great kickoff there. into the end zone. You don't see that a whole lot in high school ball. I mean, usually they don't have the leg to get it all the way in there.
Not too many. Ryan's worked exceptionally hard over the past few years at Bedford to make sure his kicking game can be something that Bedford can utilize.
Yeah, we got a real nice crowd, and we'll try to give you a crowd shot a little bit later. But it's a good crowd here. Obviously, it would make sense. Two cross-town rivals, and it looks like
somebody's coming off the field, probably for an equipment malfunction.
Well, there's two coming off, 79 and 19. So that would be Sasso and Marcus Rush. That's those are two skilled players. In comes number 24, Hanault. And Devine. Jared Devine, one of the captains. Single back if you're for Goffstown.
Motioning him in. This is a tight bunch that they've got here for Goffstown. That's a keep by Hanault up the middle.
Yeah, that one looked a little awkward from the get-go too. It was like a couple of linemen didn't know the count on that. Saw that with Bedford a drive or two ago. So it's a gain of 1.
Looks like Goffstown might be switching to their tackle read play, which was always tough to defend against. They do such a good job of repping that play and coaching it up in execution.
So we got number 80, Strickland, a big wide receiver in the slot. And that's a run up the middle. And that was Zach Picard, and he goes to about the 24-yard line, picks up about 3 yards. That'll bring up a long 3rd down and 6.
Depending on the formation here, Scott, let's see if Huff goes back to the well and does that tunnel screen again.
And in comes number 79. That's Rush. He comes back in the game. And Marcus has really proven to be a very good blocker.
Watch for the screen here if you're Bedford.
You got 12 seconds left.
He's rolling out right, pushing right. He's getting chased by Bernard. Bernard's got him around the jersey. That is a toss out of bounds. That should be intentional grounding.
Well,
in New Hampshire, it does not matter. There's no tackle box in the state. There is
that'll
not.
be a flag. And that's a loss at the spot of the flag, right?
That is.
Yep. So it'll be down and a long way to go. So you'll see the punting team for Goffstown come out with 3.3 seconds. And it was a great job. I didn't catch the number.
51.
Number 51?
Barnard.
Okay. Zach Barnard, and really good speed to get out there. Hanault's pretty fast.
It's a really tough play for a quarterback. Your instincts say throw the ball away, but automatic intentional grounding here in the state of New Hampshire.
So it'll be number 23 for Goffstown, Picard, who's your running back. He will be the kicker. Nice
good snap.
And a good kick.
Oh.
And number 2 has a seam. This could be trouble, and he gets tackled by number 76. That was Nathan Belanger, but that was Sonny Eli, who had a really good, he took that ball, look at him, it goes right up the middle.
Scott, they would prefer that he catch that ball in the air.
Right.
And hit the ground, then take off, but Ellie's speed is electric.
Yeah, and he's super fast, and now Goffstown is giving the ball to a strong Bedford team with unbelievable field position. So they'll be getting the ball. It'll go the other way.
It's the end of the quarter.
Right. So the ball will be placed on the other side of the field. It'll be on Goffstown's 25-yard line as Bedford leads now 14-7.
Once again, Bedford's defense doing a really good job. The pleasant surprise, if you're a Bedford Bulldog fan, is the play of Joe Michael.
So we got a pretty good crowd here. I'd say probably 1,000 people are here today.
It's such a great field to watch and play a football game at. Many games have gone over in the past here between Bedford and Goffstown. Here's an interesting little side note, Scott. Bedford varsity football has never won a game on this field.
Are you serious?
I am quite serious.
Huh.
In all the years that they've played each other, Bedford has never won. From Hendricks to Caparel.
I do know. Here's a stat right here. Yeah. So road team has never won. Interesting. And I just remember going to Bedford and getting Goffstown getting spanked all the time. So I guess it was similar. But good stat here. So Bedford is looking to break that streak today with a 14-7 lead over Goffstown. and see if Goffstown can
showing
figure out
pressure
an
again
answer.
here, Scott. Motion.
It's a pass play to number 1.
Sanchez, he wants to take that up. He's looking to be a
cuts
little
back.
too
Nice
fancy.
play, though.
Nope.
Yeah. He picks up 4 yards on that. So
He's a little shifty. He'll
Yeah.
get told and filmed
Yeah.
tomorrow on Monday. Excuse
careful,
me.
yeah.
Be careful with that. We want you to go forward, make one move, and then hit the hole. Some fancy footwork there.
And what you see there, here comes the replays. Look at that. And then he just keeps moving his legs and moving his legs. So a great job.
Michael does a great job of throwing the ball to where the blitz is coming from. So hard to defend when you're a linebacker coming in on a blitz call. Double back set here for the Bulldogs.
It's a handoff to number 1. And
Sanchez
he hits the hole,
again.
and he gets tackled by number 24. That would be Hinault. So Sanchez once again, and he gets a first down.
Goffstown's got to make a stop here, Scott. It's really
Yeah,
important.
so this is first goal for Bedford, and you're right. So far, Goffstown has not had any answers for the Bedford offense.
Guys on Goffstown got to take their hands off their hips. There's a lot of football to play here.
High snap up to number 21, and he gets stopped by number 23 for Goffstown in on that one, Picard. So you got your running back playing punter.
A little bit of everything. Did a good job
everything.
shooting that gap, and Matt Atkin in the hole upended him. It's a great play by him.
Second and goal at the 8.
Back here.
Joe Michael at quarterback.
Surveys the field. He's got
Again, I
plenty
look
of
at
time.
that quick slant. That quick slant's been there all day.
Sends him in motion.
And it's a cutback, and that's going to be shy by about the 1 yard line. So he made a really nice cutback.
On that speed sweep, that's Aaron Scaling, number 7, their backup quarterback. Very quick, very shift, hard to defend.
Yeah, we're not going to show. I'll show you a little bit of replay here, but the action is going pretty quick here. So it's a third and goal from the 1, and this is, again, so many opportunities. You can do a quarterback keeper.
Look for a counter play here again, Scott. They ran that before with a little bit of success.
And that's in there.
Get behind those big old linemen and drive the football.
Yeah, that was number 21, Michael Axon. And that's a quick for Bedford. So far they've scored on every drive, and it's been a dominance on every drive.
They've been good on their execution. They're keeping Goffstown on edge a little bit, not knowing which way the ball is going.
Good snap. And that ball, figures.
Low.
It was blocked. That was the best snap so far, and it got blocked.
Good penetration up the middle by the Goffstown D-line. Somebody must have got a hand. That could be a difference maker here, Scott.
Well, it can be only if Goffstown can find a way to stop Bedford, and they have not shown that so far in this game. And Goffstown's only score really has been on a one single play, an 85-yard play. They're going to have to do some more sustained effort. So right now, Bedford and Goffstown are leading They have 2 wins in the D1 North standings, and everybody else, we got Manchester Central 1 and 2, and the others. So now in terms of last night's scores, Salem 23, Concord 0, Pinkerton 35 to Central 7, Wyndham, who Goffstown beat last week, 35 to 7 over Memorial, and Exeter really put a whooping on Merrimack, 41 to 7. That game surprised me, to be honest. That Merrimack game. I thought Merrimack had a stronger team.
I think they do. I think that they were a little unprepared for Exeter's much deceptive pass game. Kid from Exeter threw 3 touchdown passes in last night's game. Kick right. That's going to drop. That's a live ball going to Lopez. They'd like him to pick that up. Knocked out of bounds again by Kambani. Great effort and discipline by Kambani, staying in his lane, coming on over, knocking him out of bounds.
Did a little tap dance on the sideline at around the 30, 28-yard line.
At the 27-yard line.
We'll call it the 27. So far, a very good game for Bedford on offense. Perfect execution, and I say the word perfect because when you put up 3 touchdowns on 3 drives, that is perfect.
Coach Donahue on the defensive side of the ball has made some adjustments. He's got these guys playing fast in assignment football.
Goffstown's got to find a way right now to at least get a drive together because you got to give your defense a break.
You're right, Scott. This is really important. Hinault drops back, pass call. Little screen pass. There he goes, met strong. That's a great play by number 23, Picard, picking up some decent yards for them on that delayed screen.
And I like that call because it slows up the rush a little bit.
It does. Bedford would like their D linemen to retrace their steps and get to the ball on that type of play. Great setup by Goffstown there with the screen left.
You got Lopez on the lower part of your screen. He's the one who had the 85-yard touchdown. Got Picard in the backfield with Hinault. Fake handoff.
Roll out right.
A throw. And a great block. Knockdown by number 88. I think that was Trevor Soden.
That is Soden. Nice job. He will get told in film, we don't want you jumping up. We would like you to wrap up the quarterback. But a good job getting his hands up there.
Yeah.
And Hinault really was challenged by getting outside of that block.
And I like what Goffstown was trying to do on that play because they had a lot of open space. But great execution by Soden to knock that ball down.
Goffstown in their twin set. Look screen here again.
3rd and 4, fumble.
That's a loose ball. It's a great pickup by Hinault. They were trying to run that tunnel screen again.
Yeah. And he doesn't get much. So now if you're Goffstown, you have to punt. You can't give Bedford a short field, not with what they've been doing.
No, absolutely not. Look for the fake snap here, possibly a fake. Coach Huff has been known to do that, certainly a hard count on the snap. It was a great job by Hinault, staying focused, not trying to do too much, was able to execute that play and still get the ball off on the tunnel screen. So got to be careful here if you're Goffstown.
Yeah, so number 2 is Sonny, is it Ellie?
Sonny Ellie.
Sonny Ellie, and he's got some speed. And
that is very undisciplined.
Oh,
That's going to be an
be
offside. That is a first down, Scott. 4th down and 4 to go.
Oh, my goodness.
Come on.
If you're Bedford defensive coach or special teams coach, you cannot be happy right now.
We want them to watch the ball.
Well, no, I mean, you've played a perfect game so far. And, again, you have defense on their heels.
Giving them another chance. This is a great opportunity for Goffstown to do something. Look for Goffstown to go deep here, Scott. Coach Huff, whenever a team makes a mistake, likes to punish them with play. Don't be surprised if you see something big here.
Strickland in the slot. Number 34 is Baxter.
Brings Baxter in.
He's going to be Baxter in, I think, for blocking.
Sniffer back.
And
a little bit of a scrum there.
I am so amazed at Picard. I talked to him after the last victory, and he just keeps moving his legs and moving his legs. I mean, he never gives up, this guy. He's one of the hardest runners.
He's really been strong for Goffstown, doing a little bit of everything. He's executed really well. They're obviously putting a lot of trust in him, and he's earned it, and he is not letting the team down.
I think right now what Bedford defense is saying to Goffstown is, if you want to, go beat passing, because we haven't seen it. And so far, except for that one play to Lopez, they really haven't had much success throwing the ball. Low snap.
Low snap again, up the middle to Hinault. Hinault gives it to Picard, excuse me, Scott.
And that'll bring up a down and a long 5, more like 6 yards. So Sonny Elliott on the tackle. Let's see what Coach Huff dials up here.
There's a long throw out to Picard, but he has been quiet today.
Is there 11 guys on the field for defense? I just counted. Looks like 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. Hold. That was a hold, too.
A little screen play.
Goffstown got away with a hold, number 55.
Landy's in on that.
Kyle Marin, he grabbed a jersey. He's got away with it.
You know, he's run screen left a couple times. I wonder if we'll go screen right in the second half, Scott. Scott Landy's in on that to pressure the quarterback. Ellie back deep again for Bedford. It's the collegiate style punt.
Yeah, he's a dangerous punt returner. Want to keep it away from him. Kick it. I would kick it to the right side.
It's a good snap.
And that's a great kick. I should have been a coach.
They're always looking for great coaches, Scott.
Yeah. Comes off.
Yeah, that was a great cut right there by the Goffstown team. Swarm to him. He'll have to take a play off with his helmet off.
Now, how does that work? I mean, he doesn't. It's just next play. It's not.
He can't come in. He has to sit out for one play.
Right.
If he takes it off, usually they'll call that an unsportsmanlike penalty. But the fact that it was
He can take
knocked
it
off,
off.
no, not on that one.
Yeah.
That was just knocked off. But he's automatically sit for one play.
Marcus Rush, 79. He's playing on the defensive side of the ball. So's Belanger. So these guys are going both ways. 77, George Pierce at nose tackle. So maybe they're trying to do something differently. You're seeing some of your men playing both ways
Sanchez
here.
in motion. Up
That's
the middle.
that's up the
Askin
middle.
cuts back to the left.
A missed tackle.
He's got some room to go. There he goes.
He gets tackled by Hinault, who happens to be a good open field tackler, but a missed tackle by Goffstown gives up about 15 yards.
That motion was done to try and confuse Goffstown. They didn't bite much, but certainly a good cut by Atkins and a great tackle by Hinault. You said he's a great tackler. You're absolutely right, Scott. Okay, Bedford looking to go a little bit faster here.
Got Duval as cornerback on the short part of your screen.
Michael drops back. He's got Sanchez wide open. Great tackle. Great concentration by Sanchez, though.
So Hinault, the safety, went for Solomon Sanchez to see if he can break that one up, but that's a nice reception. Again, so far the passing game, I don't know what the stats are. I know we're keeping them in the studio, but I think that if you're Joe Michael, you're doing pretty well today.
So far, so good. They'd like him to keep it up, maintain control of this game.
Under 6.5 to play.
Here comes the blitz again.
And he keeps
Atkins
going,
goes right.
but he gets tackled by number 34, Brad Baxter.
Mikey's worked really hard over the past couple of years to be the premier back at Bedford. Suffered a ACL injury in a playoff game about a year ago. Came back, worked really hard.
I got to work harder on pronouncing his name right.
It's all right.
Oh, my God, I feel bad. So there's 8 for 11 is Joe Michael, 108 yards and 1 touchdown and a half. Impressive performance.
Diego Sanchez cutting left on top of his blockers. Great run. Number 11 for Goffstown with a terrific tackle. They'd like him to drive his feet forward and not wrap up and drag him for that extra 2 yards.
That's a first down, though. Mompoyo with the tackle, but not after a first down by Sanchez.
Goffstown with a couple substitutions here.
Yeah, it's hot, folks, here. It's probably in the low 80s, no doubt about it.
At the Goffstown 26-yard line.
Pressure once again. He pulls it. He hits Sanchez out in the open. Great gang tackle by
good
Goffstown
job.
there.
That was by Duval, I believe, right?
Duval and Picard in on that again.
And there's a replay. Nice tackle by both Baxter and Duval.
Now that was pretty terrific. Rallying to the ball, not letting him make anything happen with that. Motion again.
And we've got something.
It's a timeout.
Maybe?
It's going to be a timeout. Bedford, I think, Scott. Coach Matthews
Goffstown
goes out
calls
and
the
meets him.
timeout, and that could just simply be because they're tired and then you got to get some water in these guys.
Absolutely. That's good game management on the part of the coaches, making sure they get a little bit of water. They want to get the play set. This is an important point for them.
So once again, today's Bedford-Goffstown football game is being live by our friends at GTV. So we want to again thank Adam and Dave in our studio. And we're also simulcasting today's game with Bedford Television. So we're sending the signal over to Bedford. So hopefully you're enjoying one of our premier Goffstown broadcasts. It's also on the radio on WBNH 105.1. So nice job by Adam McCune working with his partners at the cable access station in Bedford to allow the folks in Bedford, our neighboring community, to see their Bulldogs in action against Goffstown. And hopefully next year, Bedford will do the same with us. Send the feed over here.
Let's hope so, Scott. This has been a great rivalry over the years. The teams have been so evenly matched, minus a couple games here and there, but this is a rivalry that runs deep.
Yeah, a couple of years ago, we had Bedford TV. We did a collaborative broadcast. That was a lot of fun. And it's been a pretty good partnership over the years. High school football broadcasting. Hopefully, Goffstown, I think we're probably one of the best. I don't know. We're instant replays and
pretty terrific up here.
Here comes
high snap. Michael
pass
manages
play.
it.
He's wide open.
That's going to be a flag, I would think.
No. I think the ball was uncatchable. So So Tim Green was the intended receiver, and I think it was number 11 for Goffstown. That Poyo defending on the play. This is probably, if you're Goffstown, this is one of the biggest plays right now to date because they've got to stop Bedford.
Absolutely, Scott. I think Michael probably would like that one back.
Really quiet here in Goffstown. Goffstown trails 20-7 with under 5 minutes to play in the first half. Joe Michael with the snap. He's looking to pass all the way, and he's wide open to number 11, and he breaks free. That is a touchdown. Touchdown to Tim Green. And Tim Green has just been eating Goffstown up all game long. He's found that open seam. And
cutting across field on that dig route, Scott, and that's really hard to defend, but you were right. Michael was looking at him the entire way. He delivers the ball.
I think it wasn't like that was any trickery. He looked at him the entire route.
The entire route. That was going to be his option from the first step.
And that kick looks good from my angle.
It is.
So now it's a 27-7 halftime lead for Bedford, and Goffstown's figure out something on the defensive side of the ball. No doubt about that. So Tim Green, 6 receptions, 76 yards. I mean, again, we're seeing it here. We're up in the booth, but Tim Green has been wide open. Again, he's catching the ball, and a receiver, that's their job, is to catch the ball, but he's been so wide open, Neil.
He has been. There will be some adjustments, maybe switch more to a man scheme.
Yeah.
They've got to take away that inside route that he keeps going to. He's getting leverage on his cornerbacks, and he's taking that slant or that dig
right, so there's a
route.
couple of things that you're going to have to do, and it's hard in high school football, and that is you got to bump them, off the line. And I don't know if that's going to work in this situation, to be honest with you. Or you got to play more of a man-to-man.
They've shifted coverage a couple times to double team him, and Green seems to exploit it time and time again. So some adjustments will need to be made.
And in fairness, or I should say credit to the Bedford Bulldogs offensive line, which I know has been together for a long time, they're giving him a ton of time. And that is number 7, Duval, and Caden Perry. I apologize. That's Caden Perry, and he gets to about the 25-yard line.
Caden Perry's been real great for the Goffstown Grizzlies all year. He came on in that Pinkerton game, especially the second half. I'd look for him to be somebody that they'll try and target in the second half.
I'm not all about being predictive at all, but I tell you, if Goffstown has a chance in this game, they're going to have to put a touchdown on the board right now. They can't, because they're not going to get the ball in the second half. I think Bedford is going to be getting it.
That would be a big momentum shift for the Grizzlies. You're absolutely right, Scott.
I'm getting a nod here. No, they're not getting the ball in the second half. Goffstown's receiving. Okay, I thought they kicked off.
Spreading it out a little bit, trips formation. It's a new quarterback in.
Jeremy Hinault is in the game, and he runs it up, but he
a
gets
little wildcat met hard by Jack Grogan in the hole.
Yeah.
Grogan sat and waited on that, wasn't biting on the wildcat option.
So what happened on that one? Where is the brother Hinault? Perhaps. I didn't see anything. Maybe it was on a defensive play. To look for him on the sideline, if somebody could, up here in the booth, help us spot. But it is the twin brother Jeremy Hinault is now at quarterback. Pitch.
Little pitch play. That's a great block right there by the slot.
Man, Picard is a yard shy. He's a yard shy, I think.
No, they're going to give it to him, Scott.
All right. That's a generous spot, in my opinion, but Picard's got some pretty good speed around that edge.
He certainly does. Spread him out wide again.
You typically don't see a quarterback, chucking the ball a whole lot, but you see a lot of handoffs when the second-string quarterback comes in. And that's another pitch.
There you go. Like you said, Scott, great speed by Picard out there.
And he picks up about 3 yards maybe on that.
It's going to be a tough situation for Goffstown if they're going to have to go toss right, toss left. Let's hope that Hinault is all right, and this is just getting his ankle taped or something.
Yeah, but if I'm not mistaken, Strickland is also a quarterback. He's 6'3". Yeah, but he's also playing the wide receiver spot. But so does Hinault. So That was Monpoy. That's a
ball.
fumble, and
That's tough on the exchange when you've got a new quarterback in there.
I think Goffstown recovered that.
Goffstown's got it.
But
the
they
official
lost
is
3 or 4 yards.
signifying Goffstown ball. The official has his hand up already.
Ball is recovered by Goffstown.
So we're not really quite sure what happened to Jared Hinault, but he has been out this drive, and his brother Jeremy is at QB, 3rd and 11.
From the Grizzlies' 34-yard line.
This is a passing situation, but again, Coach Huff may be reluctant to pass. I don't know. You might see a draw play or
Maybe
again,
a screen left again.
Right, or another pitch. Umpoyo is in the backfield.
You go play action keep. That's a good run.
Number 24.
Nice job by Hinault there.
On the carry.
Timeout Bedford with 2 minutes 21 seconds. So they're looking to put up more points for the halftime, no doubt. And that was a one-arm grab
And number
by the Bedford defender.
Zach Bernard.
So just as a reminder, at the end of the first half, we are going to be watching a video on New Hampshire Tackles Hunger, produced in the Goffstown studio by our own Adam McCune, featuring Goffstown Grizzlies football team. And all across the state, WMUR and New Hampshire Tackles Hunger. It's a charity event. All of the high school football teams participate in it. It's a great, great thing. And, one of these days, I want to try to get, Jamie Staten or somebody up here. I think that would be kind of cool, right?
I'm sure if they shot out an invitation to him, he would come. I saw him at the...
Or Jason King, right? Just get one of these guys up here. Just call maybe 3 or 4 plays with us.
That'd be great. Jason King, former coach from Merrimack High School.
We don't have a punter out there. Oh, it's Kyle.
Punter out a little bit late. I wonder if Coach Huff has something up his sleeve.
Well, no, this is your kicker.
Oh, over his head.
God.
This is trouble. Nope. He's got some room to run. It's a great cutback and a great...
Oh, my goodness. Everything that could go wrong is going wrong if you're the Goffstown Grizzlies. I mean, and here's the thing is that Pinard, he's pretty tall. He's probably 6'2", and that thing went way over his head.
Made something out of nothing there, not letting the Bulldogs get the ball deep in their territory.
I was surprised. He had a little bit of room there where he could have pooched it, could have kicked it, but...
Goffstown's really got to knuckle down here.
Yeah, they're reeling right. Goffstown has not stopped Bedford in this first half. Not once. And a lot of it, the offensive line for Bedford, unheralded here. Here comes a throw deep.
Now he held on to it too long.
As soon as I said that, they gave up a sack, right? So that was number 76, Nate Belanger. They said what a great job Bedford line is doing. They give up a sack. But they really have done a great job all game long.
Michael held that a little too long. Looked like he was going to try and do a hitch and go when he double clutched that ball and held on to it just a little. And Belanger the opportunity to put him in the ground.
I was talking to one of the Bedford assistants pregame, and he said that this offensive line is pretty much the core of the team. A lot of turnover in the skill positions, but not that O-line. Here comes a blitz.
Screenplay picked up
and tackled by Umpoyo, I think, number 11.
Coach Matthews is now taking over the O-line, D-line responsibilities as the head coach. He's done a terrific job keeping these guys together, working hard. Goffstown has
3rd and 9. This is a critical play for Goffstown.
A little bit of a blitz right here. Michael picks it up, and again, that dig route to Green.
And that was fairly good coverage by Poyo, but again, Green, I mean, what's the 7th catch or 8th catch?
They've got to take away the inside leverage from him. Timeout,
First and goal, and really, it's been the Green show. It's been there's no doubt about that. It's been Tim Green. I don't know if we can bring up some stats for him, but I think he's caught 8 balls, probably almost close to 100 yards. I'm thinking, right? I mean, he's pretty close to that, and that's a first half.
Almost the same play every time, too, Scott. Goffstown's got to make an adjustment where they take that inside leverage away from him.
So we're a little bit of a break in the action while Bedford calls timeout. And there's Tim Green, 8 receptions, 91 yards with 1 touchdown. And the way he's going right now, he puts another one in the end zone, he could be looking at a player of the week here with the effort he's putting through.
Tim Green, a hard worker, plays both sides of the ball for Bedford. Caught a pass in the championship game for Bedford last year, continuing to roll it forward. Goffstown really needs to dig deep here, make a stop.
It's first and goal on the 5-yard line, and this game is looking to be put out of hand here. Really.
Goffstown making some adjustments on the line, shifting around a little bit.
Quarterback
Michael with the
keeper, he is in there. So Joe Michael with the touchdown. He goes over the right guard for a touchdown, and big scores on the board here. 33-7.
Scott, if you notice, Goffstown's line was jumping around a little bit, and their amoeba-type defense, which has been so successful for them over the years, trying to rattle Michael. He does a good job of making an adjustment. More of that from Goffstown.
And that kick looks good. So it'll be 34-7 with 60 seconds left in the half.
Goffstown has come their 2 previous games.
Yeah, but I have to say, though, that they've come back, but they haven't been down by, 4 touchdowns. So, and I think, you're talking about 5 drives, 5 touchdowns. So this is, something's got to give if you're Goffstown, because you're going to be in running time pretty soon. If you're going to, I think it's what, 30
they have to have a 35-point
margin in the second half, and you go running time. And certainly Bedford is beating up on Goffstown right now, 34-7. And even on the offensive side of the ball for Goffstown, haven't really had a whole lot of success. We don't have Jared Hinault in the game. We don't know what happened to him, but they haven't really haven't had too many first downs, and that's the key. You got to keep your defense off the field on a hot day like it is today. Kickoff by Babotis. Nice kick. And that is Perry. Fields it at his about 5-yard line. He goes sideline. He's got a hole. He keeps going, and he's at the 48-yard line with 52 seconds. And the clock should have stopped like 2 seconds ago. They should put 2 more seconds on the clock there. I don't know if they will, but
it's a great run back by Perry, being patient on his blocks and then exploiting the hole, running it up the right sideline.
Yeah, really nice job. That was one of the highlights of the day. And you can see a really good job by Perry straddling that sideline. But you see he has the speed. He's a really quick player. So now the question is, what do you do if you're Goffstown? And clearly you got to throw the ball, I think. You got to try to do something.
They need a little momentum going into halftime, Scott. It's a good little head fake by Hinault. His helmet's off.
So he's coming out of the game.
Take one play off.
So now we'll either have Lopez or Strickland at quarterback. So now it comes in number Seth
5.
Osborne.
From the Bedford 48-yard line.
So now it's Strickland will play quarterback.
No, it's
Nope.
Lopez.
I don't know who's quarterback. No, it's Seth.
It's Osborne at quarterback.
Seth Osborne, number 5. Handoff up the
Delayed
middle.
handoff. That's a great run. Look at him cut to the outside. There he goes. He's got one man to beat.
You got to hold.
A little bit of laundry on the field.
Yeah, you got to hold. That's coming back. 52.
That's tough. That was a great run.
There's the flag on the play.
Yeah, I think that's coming back. It's a hold on 52.
Holding penalty against Goffstown.
That's tough.
Yeah.
Great run by Mompoyo.
And here's the key. I don't think he needed to do that because it was. I think the play was already by him. But
probably passed him. Something they'll have to
let's
look
see if
at.
we can see on the replay. No, that's Let's take a look at Bedford's defense if they're playing event here, which they should. I mean, you're only got, 7 seconds, right?
About 7 seconds.
Yeah.
You probably see a couple of the D-backs a little bit deeper. Coach Donahue's not going to allow something to defenders' heads here.
Well, here you got to, I don't know who's even playing quarterback. Hinault. I don't know if he has the arm strength to get it down that deep. But they're playing 10 yards off each receiver.
There's their prevent you were talking about. Linebackers back off a little bit. He's going to roll out right.
And 2 seconds left. So once again, folks, as we get ready for halftime, please watch our broadcast. You'll see a nice production produced by Goffstown Television regarding our Goffstown Grizzlies football team with New Hampshire Tackles Hunger. And once again, we want to thank all of our friends at GTV. We've got a lot of folks on the production. We've got Broden here with us, and Broden does the camera work up here. But not only that, but he's a really smart guy. He knows football. He talks in our ear. He sees things. We don't have a big staff. We don't have hundreds, but want to thank Broden because he's really helpful in spotting plays.
Terrific job on the presentation and the.
Here we go. Our
product.
camera operators. We got Broden. We got Alondro Castro, Devin Cole. We got Dave Steffen. Cody, I apologize. We got David Steffen, our director of technical operations in the studio, and Adam McCune, he calls himself an executive producer. Ever since he got the Mercedes, now he's like an executive producer. He's producer, right? Now he's executive. But hey, listen, that's what happens when you get that little emblem on your.
When you're going big time, absolutely.
Yes.
Over by the grill next to the concession stand. And you will
Firing up the grill at halftime.
Yeah. So hopefully you folks are enjoying our live broadcast. Again, brought to you by GTV. We're also being simulcast, Bedford Television, as well as WBNH 105.1 FM.
They've got a new quarterback in.
Oh, Peyton. Big arm.
Strickland is going to throw the deep ball.
He drops back about a 7-step drop. He launches it up. Highest
and
point.
It's dropped. Incomplete, but
Kambani
that'll
had
do it,
it.
folks. So we're going to turn it over to our studio for the halftime. Back probably in about 20 minutes, folks. So here's your replay of a near interception. So with that, we'll take a quick break, and we'll be back in about 20 minutes.
We're gathering food to give to families in need.
We found non-perishable food items to give to families in need in New Hampshire.
So we went around, we had 4 groups, we had $125 each and got as much food as possible.
A lot of the types of food that we grabbed were cans of soup, was a big item for us. We also grabbed some pasta and sauce because those can feed large quantities of people with very small purchases, so we can cover more people and get more of it for the amount of money we had allotted.
250 came from WMUR and the rest came from the Booster Club.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Definitely a few things that we thought we could get originally that we ended up finding we couldn't end up getting, but all in all, I think we ended up doing what we needed to get done.
All right, well, we're back from halftime, Neil, and much needed break if you're the Goffstown Grizzlies. They trail 34-7, total domination by the Bedford Bulldogs. And I tell you, you have 5 drives, you score touchdowns on each drive. That you can't do it. That's perfect. That's an A. That's an A+.
Absolutely. Goffstown's going to need to flip the switch here. Look for something a little fancy, maybe a little trickery. They need a momentum shift, especially with their quarterback being out, as we think. Let's hope that he's all right, but Goffstown needs to get something going here.
You know, interestingly, Goffstown received the ball and scored a touchdown on their first drive, and ever since then, downhill for the Grizzlies. So kicking off will be Pinard.
Coach Donahue is a defensive genius. He'll have these guys ready to go for the second half.
And here's our second half kickoff. Nice
That's a great kick.
Wow.
Deep right,
And that's
out
in
of
the end zone. So
automatic touchback.
so that's the second one of the game. Bedford kicker had one, and now the Goffstown kicker. And that's really what you need. I mean, obviously, you don't want to have a poor kicking game where you can barely get to the 20-yard line and giving up so much yards. And I think so far Bedford's kicker and Goffstown's kicker have done well in that regard.
Your wife said hi on Facebook.
Thank you to my wife, Wendy, streaming the game at home.
Wow. And she's sending you like tweets and stuff?
It's pretty fancy technology
on
today.
Facebook, yeah.
Dialing up the pressure again.
Is a number
Atkins
21.
exploits that hole. That's a good run. He gets knocked down
And
by
that
number
was
9.
Duval with the final tackle.
Duval playing some strong run support. He's been challenged a couple times today and risen to the challenge each time.
Hinault is playing safety. They're going to have to defend number 11, and there he is. He's top of your screen. Poyo, so it's 11 on 11.
That's a long throw for Joe Michael to make.
I agree, but if he cuts it underneath and number 14 is not there, what do we got?
Timeout.
Timeout, Bedford?
Coach Matthews didn't like what he saw right there. He wants to talk to his young quarterback about what he might be seeing.
So maybe they're seeing different formations. And that's one of the things that Coach Tuff does a good job. He is a pretty good person at making adjustments at halftime. The question is that when you're down by 4 touchdowns, is it too late? Because, I used to say this to Alan all the time. In football, it doesn't matter what level, you only get a certain number of possessions. And typically you get anywhere 8, 9, 10, 11, possessions. And in this case, so Bedford had 5 possessions. They scored all of them. If they get another 5, that means you have to go perfect, right, on defense if you're Goffstown, and you have to score on every one of yours. And I know that that's kind of a simplistic way of doing it. It's almost like tennis in a way, but
it is a lot to ask for these players, especially with the he's got.
Yeah. And then the only other thing that can happen is if you get lucky and you get turnovers, like a pick 6. That can get you back in the game. Michael in the shotgun.
Showing blitz. Here's the motion.
And that's a handoff.
Handoff.
And quickly tackled by Marcus Rush.
It's a great read by the D tackle. Staying home. Assignment football.
Yeah, he hit that gap and made a great tackle.
Not getting fooled by the motion. Goffstown does a good job staying home.
So we got a 3rd and 5 situation. And let's see if they do that same thing, that underneath route by number 11, Tim Green. It's been open all day long.
78.
Here's
Move
what
it up.
Somebody moved on the offensive line for Bedford, I think.
That's going to be on big number 71,
71.
Torrey Helton.
That's a 5-yard penalty.
You know what play I would do right here if I'm Bedford?
What's that?
I would fake like a quick, number 11 would fake the throw, cut inside, then go deep, like what do you call it? That's like a chair route type thing.
A hitch and go?
Yeah, exactly. Because I think that they'll bite on it, and then just go deep.
Fake slant go.
Yep, fake slant and go. Here comes a blitz by Goffstown.
Got 7 wide.
It's a big toss.
He's got to get up. Got to turn his head.
Oh, that's a tough play to defend against. Yeah, there's going to be a penalty there.
But there was, you know what? Yeah, but he had no contact. That is, I don't necessarily agree with this call. And I'll say he didn't turn around, and I'm going to give you that. But he didn't even try to go back for the ball, and there was no contact with Poyo.
Let's look at that again, Scott. I think he put his shoulder into scaling, and as a result, The referee caught that at the
I wonder
very
if we
end.
can see that one more time. I don't know if our studio can hear us. Here we go. Let's see it one more time.
That's a tough call for Goffstown.
That's not catchable.
And here it comes. Yeah, that was not. I don't think that ball was catchable. But
I don't think he was going to catch it either, Scott. He was right on top of it, too.
all right, that's pass interference. That'll be
Automatic first down for Goffstown here. There's that inside run. Goffstown collapsing really nicely on that.
Yeah, number 78 for Goffstown. That would be Noah Fontaine.
Seeing Goffstown in a three-man front. The offensive line had to make some adjustments for Bedford.
And that's the key, is that if Goffstown's going to have plays made by their 3 down linemen, because you got to have your linebackers go into coverage a little bit. You can't send everybody in the box.
You see 78 tap him on the left side, look for an inside blitz.
Number 21, Michael Ashton on the carry.
His elbow was down.
Tripped up by number 34.
Another 3rd and 5 for if you're Bedford. So that last 3rd and 5 was a defensive penalty, which extended things. Again, Goffstown desperately needs to get the ball.
Look for them to show a little bit of pressure here.
Notice their defensive alignment, though. Okay, it's a little bit different now. You got 3 down linemen, and you don't have
3-5-3 here, Scott. Big rush up the middle. They got to pick that up. Quick little out route. Oh, that was a pick 6 if he could have held on to that.
That was Geisenheiner. Geisenheiner would have had a pick 6, but a nice job by Geisenheiner. So here's what they're kind of putting in like
They're dropping their linebackers up. They're showing a little bit of pressure right up the middle. They're trying to make Michael to make a poor throw. That time it worked. That throw was a little bit off.
Yes. So that was the first time all game where the defense has held Bedford.
It's a big stop coming out of the half. Just what Goffstown needs here.
Number 9 is back for Goffstown, Duval. He's got good speed.
Nope. A little bit of a floater. Goffstown almost got that one.
You got to come up for that.
No, they don't want him to get that. That's going to bounce. You won't see a red jersey around there.
Yep, and 39-yard line. Goffstown came with an all-out block on that one.
It brought the house. This is going to be important for Goffstown to capitalize on this opportunity.
So what, I mean, Neil, you've coached for a really long time, so it's really awesome having you up here with us because you know the game so well, but what adjustments does a coach make during halftime like that? Obviously they did. They have 3 down linemen for Goffstown. They're putting in more of almost like a nickel package, right? More cornerbacks.
They're going to look to take away the passing game, and they want to pressure Michael into making bad decisions.
Poyo hits the hole.
It's a great little cutback by Poyo.
He can wait for his block.
There he goes. He's off. He's running. He's got one man to beat. They knock him out of bounds.
Yeah, he's lucky. As a penalty, that was a hit to the head by Poyo. Add 15. I want to give a huge block to number 80. A huge block by Peyton. Peyton Strickland on a replay here. He had an unbelievable block to seal that edge for Poyo.
That was a great run by Poyo.
He's limping a little bit, but that was an awesome block. And great job by Poyo to wait block to develop. Peyton is a big boy, and he definitely got in the way there. And I think he came off the field, if I'm not mistaken.
That's a killer for Bedford, those types of undisciplined penalties.
And now there's a 15-yard penalty because he went high, Neil. I saw that from here, and he hit him in the helmet.
More discipline. Bedford secondary is necessary. Here you go, inside zone again. Little spin move.
And so Poyo picks up a good 7 yards on that play. He spun around.
Bedford making some personnel change here. They're going to go with their heavy package.
And you can see him. He's shaking and baking. He hits the hole.
Great vision by him.
So Jeremy Hinault is at quarterback. Poyo is to his left.
2 non-starters.
Hands it off, and he's going.
Number 11, Uzi Poyo on the carry.
Making forward progress.
So Uzi Poyo, let's see how close he got to. He got a first down, I think.
Moving the chains.
So they're going to move the chains. And let's see where it's spotted.
He's had a good game. They got a new back in, Scott. And this is Baxter.
Power ball.
Yeah, Baxter is the guy who's going to pound the ball.
Goffstown.
Hinault with the keeper.
That's a good keep by Hinault.
He gets to what, the 3-yard line? Can't see. It's hard. The glare is pretty hard here for us to see.
Goffstown does a good job on their play fake.
2nd and goal.
Baxter stays in it back. Hinault gets him up to the line. Got a trips for left.
Yeah, Baxter is in there also for action.
Bedford brings the blitz right up the middle. Ball.
Fumbled it.
No, that's tough. That's a country ball. He's got one man to beat, Scott. He gets in his way.
Do it. And that'll be a fumble touchdown. So that was exactly
Joey Leary
what
picks up that
Goffstown
country
did not
ball.
need. So a great job by Bedford. A fumble recovery. Brad Baxter fumbles the ball, picked up by Bedford, and that'll do it. Hate to say it, folks, but this game is over, and it's not even 7 minutes left in the third.
That's tough.
And that was really tough because you stopped them on defense, and you were doing well on offense, and then you cough it up.
Linebackers brought the pressure on that play.
Very unfortunate for Goffstown, but a strip by Bedford. They pick it up and run for a touchdown.
Joey Leary with a country ball, about 90 yards for a touchdown.
And that'll do it, 41 to.
Now Bedford 41, Goffstown 7.
So we also want one of our other folks he's not here today. That's Ty, but so he's home, I guess, right? He's watching this thing. He's supposedly he's got a concussion. Oh boy. Oh, Ty, we want to wish you we want to wish you all the best. And sorry that that's the case. Also, I wanted to give a shout out to my friend Joe Parumba. Joe lives at the Meeting House in downtown Goffstown. He's a big fan of the Grizzlies program. He's been hitting me up for a program for the last 2 weeks, and I heard him he was yelling near my office, and we opened up the door, and it's like, Scotty, you got to give me a program. So we got him a Goffstown Grizzlies program. I want a big shout out to.
Number 19, Ryan Babodis will kick off for Bedford. Number 2, Ryan Cody.
It's tough when the quarterback mesh point exchange is a new quarterback and a different running back. So hard to rep that.
Well, think about this, right? Baxter hasn't really been running the ball a whole lot. And that's a short kick.
It's a tough one.
Live
ball.
Nobody's there. You got to pick it up.
Oh.
It's the Bedford players didn't know the deal there either, by the way. Okay, so you have the Goffstown and Bedford players who don't realize it's a live ball. Goes yards, it's live.
I think Bedford just overran that football.
Yeah. But the Goffstown players were just watching it,
waiting for somebody to make a decision. They've got to be a little more decisive.
Get it to roll out of bounds, get the flag on it.
Got to pick it up after 10 yards, though.
You can't do it.
You must.
As soon as that ball goes beyond 10, you got to go after it.
It's a live football. Yeah. Goffstown's coming out a little slow here. I'd like to see them with a little more urgency, realize that this is a tough game for them to come back.
Now you're going to be in running time. Or close to
not too far
almost,
off.
Yeah.
The card back at running back.
They're 1 point away from running time.
Coach Donahue's message to the Bulldogs is, don't let up. It's an unfortunate mistake. Hinault trying to make something happen.
Yeah. And,
cough that up to Zwickau. So, Scott, now we are in running time.
Yeah, and that might be good for both teams here. It's a hot day, probably 85 degrees, and that was a real unfortunate play if you're Goffstown because he just had to take the sack.
Tried to make something happen. You got to give him a lot of credit for being a gutsy warrior out there, but in those types of situations, we'd like to see him eat that football.
Bedford is firing on all cylinders here. Defense, you name it.
This has been a very well-executed game plan by the coaching staff.
So Bedford has put up 2 touchdowns on the defensive side of the ball.
Bedford came in here only allowing 7 points in their past 2 competitions. It'll be important for Bedford to continue that going forward. No let up.
84 degrees on the field today.
It's so hot.
Usually, you know, it's in the fall, like I see in the graphic here, it's usually about 70 degrees, but not today. It's more like a summer day. And the Goffstown crowd is pretty quiet, and they should be because they're down. They're down big time.
Tough situation for both sides of the ball right here. You don't want Bedford to be complacent, and on the other hand, Goffstown really needs to take something away from this opportunity.
Why are they not putting Peyton or Jonah?
I think these are the opportunities when if you're a Goffstown to see who's resilient.
Yes, Scott.
And who keeps fighting all the way to the final whistle.
Absolutely. Coach Huff will look at that very carefully in film session and want to make sure he puts those kids out there for the next competition.
Nice kick. Let's see if we get the razzle dazzle, and we are not.
That's tough. Cody fell on it. Good job by him recovering that football.
Yeah, so it's like if it could go wrong, it is going wrong if you're the Goffstown Grizzlies today.
But like you said, Scott, they want to take some positives out of this. Who's going to finish strong for them? What's going to be the difference maker?
The thing was that when you looked at that first drive for Bedford, the positives were that the defense made a stand. And then the other positive was they on the field, a nice run by Poyo, and then they unfortunately turned the ball over for a touchdown. And then next drive, same thing. They turned the ball over for a touchdown.
Unfortunate turn of events for the Grizzlies.
But you've got a lot of injuries. Your quarterback and your running back are not in the game. So Hinault and Picard are not playing. And that was Baxter, and he's moving the pile.
Baxter runs hard.
Yeah.
That's a positive for Coach Huff to build upon.
Well, Baxter ran the ball last year for them quite a bit, and he's more of a bruising type back. Picard is more of your slash, tough runner, but he's a little faster than Baxter. Baxter's more of a fullback.
Goffstown to the line in their trips formation.
And that is
a great
Baxter.
Outside run. There goes
Cuts it out.
Baxter. Really strong run. We just heard Coach Matthews say to his players, stay invested in the game. Don't let up. Coach Donahue looking at his play calling sheet. He's going to do his best not to let Goffstown get any positive momentum here. Goffstown needs to exploit this situation and see if Bedford will let up.
And it's like you said before, Bedford's defense has only given up, one touchdown in 2 games, right? So this will be the second one. So they're trying to play strong D and keep that going. You don't want to let it go.
That's a great little out route to Hinault, and unfortunately, he had it in his hands, and I think he dropped it upon contact.
Yep.
There's a good little ball by him right there on an out route.
Are they going to call that a catch?
They can't be calling that. They call that a catch?
Yeah.
And
I think he had.
He had the turn. It was a football move. He turned into the
That pass
tackle.
was complete and then fumbled out of bounds. It's a first down for Goffstown.
Great eyes from a producer up here saying that was a catch and then a football move.
Yeah, good job, Broden. You got better eyes than us.
Low snap once again.
Keep driving those legs. Good job.
He's a big target, Strickland.
I know, and I like him. And I think he's got to be more involved in this. His first catch, he's got to get more involved in this offense overall. He's a big boy.
We certainly want Goffstown to have something to build off of, so maybe we'll see some more passing plays and getting those guys involved at this point.
And you look at somebody like him, look at his build. I mean, he's big. You're going to have to take him down.
Big frame.
Same thing. He could just sit down in a...
There goes Cody. That's a good forward run by him. About 11 yards on that play.
Any difference in personnel?
Cody's in at running back.
So Ryan Cody, the running back there, he is the brother of Devin Cody, who is helping us with camera work today. So one on the field, one off the field.
Ryan had a very strong game for the Grizzlies against Pinkerton. He was one of our players of the game.
Handoff.
That's a good fake by Hinault right there. Cody doing a good job exploiting that hole to the left. Good play action right there by Hinault. Hinault getting the signal. Got a Grizzly lineman down. So hard in this hot weather for them to compete.
You know, it was interesting. Obviously the ball is right in front of us, so we can see it. I was looking at Strickland again, and you don't have to do much. He's so big. He just got in front of the defender, and he allowed Cody to cut.
Great target. I'm sure Coach Huff will be looking to make some adjustments for next week, getting him more involved in the pass game.
There he is.
There goes Cody. That's a strong run.
Yeah. That's another first down.
Bedford certainly has put in a lot of different players. They've changed out some personnel.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking because
I don't see any of their starters except Soden out there. He's got new D linemen in there. Kambani at corner, Scaling at safety. Some JV guys getting an opportunity to do some work here. I like this play by Goffstown, looking to spread the ball out a little. That's a great keep by Hinault. He's fast, shifty.
Yeah, he is. He got a licking, though, by number 24. That was Andrew Soden. We'd mentioned his name a few times today. He's a senior.
24 is Soden's brother, I believe. 88
Okay.
is his older brother, but he's starting to come in. Tough. We really saw him come on the Pinkerton game, and he's continuing his excellent play here for the Grizzlies. Asking a lot of this young quarterback.
I mean, you're talking about he just probably didn't get a whole lot of snaps in practice. Usually the second stringer doesn't.
Outside zone.
Cody.
Good cutback.
Number 2, Ryan Cody on the carry.
Oh.
They got to go hurry out. There's no doubt about it. And
Number 29.
Coach Huft is going to be looking for something to build off of, some momentum, some positives to take away from this game. So far, he's seeing some good stuff from Hinault, Cody.
but you've got the brother Jared Hinault, starting quarterback, out. Picard out. Low snap.
Low snap again.
Yeah. So I'm not sure. Poyo is out. Maybe he might be just taking a breather because he's playing offense and defense. So
Coach Huff might start to rotate some of his younger guys in at this point in the game too, Scott.
Yeah,
looking forward to next week.
Yep.
Coach Matthews rallying his guys on there for Bedford.
You talk about that, and you look at the NFL, and you see like that last game where the Patriots were up so much, and then they still had Brady in there. I don't get that.
I think Brady and Belichick are out to prove everybody wrong this year on keeping him in there. We certainly don't want something to happen. It's a good little rollout.
And almost picked off. Look at 80. 80 was open.
It's tough, especially when the play is going to the left-hand side and he's rolling out that way. He's got one primary target. He did a good job with that. Again, Bedford defender in the air.
Give Kyle a chance.
And Alf has really shown some grit here, being able to roll out and run this offense fairly effectively.
So they're gonna go to the fourth quarter here, and it'll be a 4th down and 5. The play will be going to the other direction. And with that, I want to remind folks that today's broadcast is being simulcast with Bedford Television, as well as it's on the radio at WBNH at 105.1 on your FM radio.
The score, Bedford 48, Goffstown 7.
So hopefully you folks are enjoying our broadcast. This is quite the production. Adam McCune and Dave in our studio, they put in a ton of work for this production. If you could only see it, and maybe we'll take some pictures and we'll post those. But we got 8 people probably working this thing, I'm thinking, right, Broden? 7 or 8, yeah. So what I'm going to do is Broden wanted to do the you wanted to do some play-by-play, or you're good? You're sure?
I'm doing iPad and camera.
Oh, okay. You don't think
He's got a lot on his plate.
You don't think I could do that? You don't think I have the skill set?
I think he's questioning your skills.
All right. Okay. I was just trying to get you on the air, my friend.
I see. Now we're putting the second stringers in.
We're putting the second stringers in. Oh my God!
Got to finish strong. Finish strong.
Funny. All I know is this, Broden, can you do me a favor? Take a picture of the 50-yard line, because, who did this? Is this Randy Lovering? No, I'm only kidding.
It always looks straight when you're laying them down.
It does, but if you're trying to pass a field sobriety test, I don't know. I mean, that one would be tough.
It would be a tough one.
Yeah.
It's going to be...
Should always call an Uber there, Scott.
Yeah. All right, so it's 4th down and 5. The ball is on the 12-yard line.
4th and 5 from the Bedford.
Look for a little play action.
Yeah, I agree.
Why is the clock rolling?
It's running time.
Yeah, the clock,
It doesn't
He blew it in.
that's trouble.
There's a fumble on
That's
the
tough.
flag.
Hinault took his eyes off that for a second. He was trying to go out to number 10. He had him on a flag route.
Bedford takes over 1st and 10
Why is the clock?
at the Goffstown 17-yard
Yeah, it should keep going.
It's running time.
It's running time.
As soon as he blows it in.
Scott, our clock on the broadcast is correct.
Yeah.
That's a tough play for Hinault. He was really trying to get that pass out in the flat to number 10. The end zone on a flag route. Number 10 was wide open in the end zone. It's just so hard to complete those types of passes.
So number 16 is in at quarterback, it looks like.
Mike Levesque is in the corner.
That's a keep.
Nice.
Number 16, Sean Green on the carry.
Sean Green, their JV quarterback, brother of Tim Green, on the keeper.
Toby Halpern.
It's an opportunity for Coach Matthews to reward some of these guys who work so hard during practice.
I'm
week in,
looking at
week
my
out.
roster. I don't see him. I don't see 16. Do you?
I do not. I think he is a late addition.
Okay. Which is okay.
He is a freshman that they brought up because he is the starting JV quarterback.
Handoff to number 25. He cuts it back.
Good
Nice
cut.
run.
Wow, he's shifty.
Yeah. And if you're number 9, you got to be careful. If you're Duval, you got to be careful on him because all he had to, he pushed him out of bounds. You don't want to get an unsportsmanlike.
Emotions running high for the Goffstown Grizzlies. They're
So
a
we're seeing
proud
some
program
substitutions here. Coming in for Perry is number 16, Schaefer for Goffstown.
Coach Donahue was preaching a message of don't be selfish here, boys. Play
Yes,
for each
Smith
other.
is in for Goffstown. Handoff to 25. And he gets wrapped up rather quickly
51.
by number 51 for Goffstown, Toby Halpern. So
That's a great play by Halpern, reading that, staying with his assignment, not letting him get outside of him.
Loss of 4 yards on the play.
So that was the announcer calling his son's number. Al Halpern calling a
his
tackle.
son's
Yeah.
name.
Yeah, that's cool.
Let's hope he doesn't mispronounce that one.
Yeah, right.
That'd be tough to explain. Al takes a lot of pride in what he does. He does
does.
a great job.
Did Al ever talk to you about track and field?
All the time.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, I'm being facetious.
What do you mean?
What?
Why would you say that, Scott?
I don't know. Do you have any, like a lot of people have like good Al Halpern impersonations about, did you know Joey De Silva was the 42 champion in the long distance? No,
I've got a great Al Halpern story for you. We'll let this up.
All
I
right.
think you'll get a kick out of it, Scott.
And
That's
number
a good
3,
exchange.
but it gets
There's
tackled.
nothing there. Cheney's got nowhere to go.
Yeah, so right now you're looking at mostly a lot of JV players are getting some time right now.
Right. So Al lives about 3 or 4 houses away from me.
Oh, okay.
And he's friendly with a group of guys that we occasionally play cards in the neighborhood with. A friendly game.
Friendly
hosted
game.
by the great Kevin Lasella, great host,
Oh,
great guy.
I know Kevin.
Do you now?
Yeah, I do.
He is a wonderful host and
Yeah.
opens up his little chicken coop in the back that overlooks the pool for all of us for occasional card game. His next door neighbor, a gentleman by the name of Mark Master Birdie. Mark shows up to a card game. Al shows up to a card game. They look at each other. Mark says, "Coach."
No way.
Al says, "Mark, good to see you."
Good kick. Fair catch.
Signal. The rest of that story is, he says, "Mark, I still have your split times from when you ran track 20 years ago. You want me to go across the street and get them?"
Wow.
Starts 1st and 10.
I guess that's quite the fraternity of track people. I guess from what he tells me, they get together like almost every week or every month or at restaurants across the state. And
I think so. Coach Halpern's been at it for a long time.
Yeah.
Coach Stank, who used to be at Bedford, he's at San Marcos now, used to run into him at track meets all the time, and he would ask about certain athletes that ran track for them in Bedford at their very beginning. He's just a wealth of knowledge, and he
Yeah.
has this unbelievable memory.
so speaking of Coach Stank, he's in California now. Coach Hines is in California, and I'm told that during the interview process for the Bedford head coaching job, they came out and flat asked, Coach Matthews, like, do you know about the state of California? Do you like beaches? Or, do you like Hollywood? So it's Coach Matthews. It's his first year as the Bulldogs head coach, and today's game has just done a masterful job with the play calling. And
He certainly has. He's entrusted his coaches to make good decisions and assist in the game plan for him. But Coach Matthews is going to be able to say something that no varsity coach at Bedford High School has said, that they won at Bedford against Goffstown on their home field.
And just think about this. All of those talented teams that Bedford has had, right? And I guess they haven't had a road victory here until this year. And that is a penalty on Bedford. That'll advance the ball 5 yards.
And the staff of the Murbys and the Donahues and Marin and a couple new coaches that Zach has brought in is keeping the Bedford football tradition alive.
Fumble.
That's a fumble. Great play by their quarterback to pick that up, though, and not panic again. There's a lot that Coach Huff is going to search real hard for here, but there are certain plays where his players have really risen to the occasion.
Yeah, and I will say that another injury down, number 60, that would be Liam Ravaz. And they're going to take a knee, get folks some water.
Injury timeout here.
Yeah. So a really impressive game for Bedford today. I mean, they scored a touchdown on their first 5 possessions, and they didn't need much in the second half because they were able to limit Goffstown to no points. As a matter of fact, their defense had 2 turnovers for a touchdown, and that really kind of put it away. Goffstown had a chance to get back in it on that one drive, and unfortunately Baxter couldn't hold on to the ball, picked up by Bedford for, I think it was like an 85-yard return for a touchdown. And that really was it from there.
Goffstown came out strong. That tunnel screen was a big play. I think that Coach Donahue, the defensive mastermind that he is, adjusted his game plan and really bared down. You got to give Goffstown a lot of credit. They're light on numbers. Those kids have played very hard today. I think that the field conditions were really terrific, but the heat off of that grass has to be huge and an impact for them.
Yeah, but you know what? I think I've always been a proponent of saying that, field conditions go both ways. Both teams are impacted by, whether it be rain or snow or hot weather. Yes, it does. Having a smaller squad, Neil, obviously if you're playing people both ways, it's much more impactful. But we got to give a lot of credit to Bedford today. They really came in super strong. What I liked about it was I really liked the play calling. And it ordinarily Goffstown makes, I would say, quicker adjustments, but they had no answer for Timothy Green. They really didn't. I mean, he put up, I think he had 8 or 9 catches for 91 yards in that first half, and just no answer to that.
At times it looked like Michael and Green were playing pitch and catch, especially on those inside cut routes. It was very hard for Goffstown to defend, and I think it got away from them, unfortunately, Scott, and it just kept snowballing for the Grizzlies.
So Bedford was going to go 3-0, and Goffstown will go 2-1. That's a run up the middle. Picks up about it's close to a first down. They're going to give it to him.
Moving the change.
We're in running time here, so we got about around 6 minutes left to go. I'm wondering if our studio can bring up the schedule for Goffstown, and that'll be if you could.
I think they're at Central next, Scott. Is that correct?
No, Concord.
I think it's Concord, and I think they're playing in Concord during the day, which is unusual because Concord has lights. Handoff up the middle to Cody, and he keeps moving his legs, and he, just not a whole lot there, but he picks up 5 yards.
He's running a little high.
Yeah.
I think, though, that they've got something in him. I would look to see him at running back next week a lot, too, even despite the injuries. I think he's
only
done
a
good
sophomore,
job.
too.
He was really special for the Grizzlies against Pinkerton.
And you know what? He's part of a sophomore class that has a lot of talent.
High hopes for that sophomore class. Those juniors have played strong today, too. That's a keeper by Hinault trying to get outside. He's met strong by Kumbani on the outside edge.
He's close to a first down on that one, but he's a yard shy. So that'll be 3rd down and 1 with under 5 minutes to play. 43-7. This will be 2 downs for Goffstown, no doubt.
Coach Murby and Coach Donahue sending the signals in. They're still very much invested in this game, showing these guys that this really matters.
Cody up the middle, and he picks up a first down. So I think, what's the big showdown? The big showdown for me is going to be a Bedford-Londonderry game, right?
I think so.
They're playing.
They're a couple of weeks away from that. Salem is definitely in the hunt.
Salem is another strong team that they're going to have to contend with.
Goffstown's got a victory against Pinkerton, which is a perennial playoff team, which may help later down the season.
Right, and I said that, in the first couple of broadcasts that, winning those first 2 games with the level of competition that Goffstown has to play. They have to play Bedford, they have to play Londonderry, they have to play Salem. And you're looking at, those are probably 3 of the top 5 teams in the state. They're playing them all. And then, obviously, you're playing Concord, you're playing the Centrals and others, but
Memorial, Timberlane.
They're going to play Timberlane. So
not that you want to look past anybody
you're not
on
looking
the schedule, but you're right.
Yeah,
I don't think
you're looking
teams.
past any of those things. But I think that win against Pinkerton, and even last week, I didn't. They beat a good Windham team.
Windham's defense is really strong. Goffstown did a great job coming back. I think the Bulldogs were just too much for them to handle today.
But what we don't know is, injuries are really racking up for this Goffstown team. So, Hinault is out of the game at quarterback. Picard is out of the game as your starting running back. Antonio Capos, one of your best linemen, he's out. So it's like anything else. I mean, football is all about who's the next man up. And, if you're deep, you can survive it.
That's
and,
right.
If you look at this team here, they're the Goffstown team. They have and a lot of sophomores.
Hinault's going to roll out right here. He's got 8 down the field. He throws the under route,
but he threw it behind him.
Tough adjustment.
So that's the difference between, I think, what Joe Michael was able to do in that first half and what happened there, because Joe Michael was able to see that ball and Green was catching it in that open space all first half.
Michael's had the luxury of not having to do a lot of scrambling and rolling out and just dropping back in the pocket, which has been set. Here's a tough play for Hinault. He's going to hold on to that.
He was down right there, so they're going to.
An incompletion. His arm was going forward. Hinault really needs to hold on to that ball. I know he's trying to let something happen, but they want him to eat this.
So number 8, Jacob Smith, he's in the game. 5 is Seth Osborne. 16, Robert Schaefer at the far side of your screen as receivers. Tyler Denton, number 31. He's playing a slot receiver, looks like.
About 2:30 left in the game. Here's the pooch.
And that was about
sky high.
That's a 10-yard. That's a 10-yard punt.
Hinault's punt is down by number 16, Bobby Schaefer. Bedford, 1st and 10.
And the clock keeps going.
About 2 minutes to play here, Scott.
So I want to once again, I want to thank all of our team here at Goffstown Television as we wind down with 2 minutes left. That's Adam McCune in our studio and Dave and all the guys on the camera work. Adam put in a ton of work just trying to put stats together, do all your packages, and I'm not familiar with how sports is done all across the state, but I'm proud of what we do here at GTV. Neil, I'm proud that you're part of our team now. You offer so much insight, especially in a game like today where you used to coach for Bedford, so what better way?
It's great to be here. Goffstown Television certainly does an unbelievable job promoting these athletes in all sports. Their production value is substantial here, and a lot of investment on their part and effort. Nice, strong run by Michael Irwin. He's a sophomore, and, man, he ran north-south hard on that one. And this is what you want to see, because these are the future varsity players. The guys are going to get a lot of snaps, a year from now. Absolutely. You can see the investment on the Bedford team, making sure that they finish this game strong. Now, just like Irwin, I mean, he gets the ball again. Look at him, charging. So he pretty much doesn't get – he gets 3 yards when he could have been tackled for a 3-yard loss. So they'll have to work on that mesh point exchange. Green gave that to him, and I think he was hesitating, thinking about pulling that. But Irwin does a good job of keeping his feet moving forward and hitting that hole. They don't want them to bounce. They really want them to exploit the hole and
this
get
will be
downfield.
This will be the last play of the game, running play.
What? Yeah, you're fine. No, you're fine. Keep going.
And a handoff to number 25 once again.
He's got to hold that. Christopher's holding that ball way too loose.
Yeah, but he picks up a good 15 yards, and that'll do it, folks. So Bedford is going to come away with a big win here, 43-7. The first time that Bedford has come here in a regular season game and beaten the Goffstown Grizzlies. So kudos to them and Coach Matthews. His first year as the Bedford coach, just done a phenomenal job. Great play calling, Neil, and you can't do better if you're Bedford.
A lot for Bedford to build on here, take away. Congratulations to Coach Matthews and the Bedford Bulldogs for coming in here and doing something that's never been done before, beating the Grizzlies. Grizzlies have a lot to look forward to. Need to get into the film room and make some adjustments. Coach Huft is amazing at that, and his staff have him ready to go next week. Scott, a pleasure to be here with you today. Thanks for everything.
All right, so once again, want to thank our friends at Bedford Television and at WBNH FM Radio 105.1 for simulcasting this game and getting it to the folks who live in Bedford. I hope you enjoyed our broadcast. And for Broden and Neil, my name is Scott Gross. I want to thank you and have a great day.